Hello everyone, Vikas here. Now we are going to listen to education and career development tips. While walking in the morning or evening, while cooking, cycling or during free time you can listen. It will enhance your learning and understanding of various accents and pronunciations. Listening improves the quality of communication and comprehension. Before going ahead, I would like to welcome you all to the virtual school. A new way of learning and teaching, with the vision of Let's Grow Together. Our mission is to learn how to learn and teach how to teach. So stay tuned. And here we go. July 26, 2021. Education and career development. When times get tough, how has the pandemic impacted students? A look at the various issues. R.W. Alexander G. Zudison. Global studies have shown that youngsters are struggling to cope with the varied challenges thrown up as a result of the pandemic. Anxiety, elevated stress levels and depression have been cited as some of the problems. When it comes to education, interrupted study programs has been the main issue, despite the adoption of online learning methods. Academic insufficiency. With online learning being the mode since March 2020, both teachers and students have been experiencing difficulties due to connectivity issues. For economically challenged students, the lack of access to devices is another problem. This means that, despite a teacher's best efforts, the question of how many students they reached remains. Also, innovative and exploratory models of assessment and evaluation would not have been possible during this time. Dealing with this requires a great deal of self-learning by students. Emotional instability. Over the past year and a half, many students have had to deal with the loss of loved ones. While philanthropists and the governments have come forward to help them continue their education, the trauma of the loss has also to be dealt with. In the case of those whose parents have lost their jobs, there is a lot of stress due to having to find funds to pay the fees. A third aspect is that having to complete their education virtually has led to an emotional strain and worry about placements. This year has also seen many students worry about falling victim to the virus. No public gathering. Youth often like to chill at beaches, malls, theaters, parks, and common places, but this is now prohibited for their safety. Neither can they gather in other public places like places of worship, which may have offered some measure of solace. This has led to a lack of fellowship and social structure. Unfortunately, students are now glued to laptops or mobile phones for hours, and their social life is also virtual. While this situation was unexpected and no one is sure when a degree of normalcy will be restored, it is important for us to address these issues so that the youth can come through to the other side without too much ado. The writer is Pro Vice Chancellor, Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science, deemed to be university. Career prospects for you uncertain about your career options? Low on self-confidence? This Q&A column by Nandini Raman, practicing counselor and trainer, may help. I am pursuing AB.Tech. In CSE from Bihar Engineering College and also preparing for the UPSC exam. I have studied in a Hindi medium school till class 10. But my preparations for the exams are in English. I understand what I read but am not able to write well in English. What can I do to improve? Ankit Kumar. Dear Ankit. Here are a few tips that might help write a journal every day. Short, brief sentences that can over time expand and become more elaborate. Brush up on your grammar, read as much as you can, so that drafting, framing, expressing, and articulating will not be a challenge. Try and see if you can write small blogs /notes /stories /essays on varied topics and get a mentor who can give you feedback and help clean it up with some sound suggestions and recommendations. It will help build your confidence. I am doing an UG course in economics from SN University Kerala. I opted for this because I wanted to enter the civil services. But now I want to start a business in aerospace. I am very confused about what I should do. Anup Kumar U. Dear Anup. That a huge shift in orbit both in terms of education and interest. I would suggest a career profile first and, then if you are still insistent on the aerospace business idea, get a job in that industry and see what it entails, the challenges and the difficulties before you commit to starting a business with no knowledge and backing. I have finished my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I have a keen interest in the textile industry and am considering a master's in textile design. Should I do this in India or abroad? What are my prospects? Akshay Tomar. Dear Akshay. Certainly the US is a step ahead of other countries in providing the best textile engineering courses globally. I suggest you start doing your research ASAP to shortlist good schools and the costs. Textile is a growing industry and textile engineering offers a bright career because the demand and supply will never diminish. Various job opportunities available are as a medical textiles engineer, process engineer, operations supervisor, quality control supervisor, process improvement engineer, and so on. I have finished my graduation and have completed the CPT exam. I am stuck at CA Inter. My parents are forcing me to go for coaching for the banking exams. They want me to get a job first and then do the CA. What should I do? Abhishek Thotre. Dear Abhishek. What do you want to do? How long do you want to crack Inter? How many more attempts have you planned? What is your plan B, in case CA takes very long? I think your parents are only looking at a secure option for you to start being independent and earn your own finances. First, spend some time to get clarity in what you want and then have an open conversation with your parents. Disclaimer: this column provides advice, guidance, and suggestions on education and careers. It is a guiding voice from a practicing career counselor. The writer is a practicing counselor and a trainer. Send your questions to adoplus.thehindu@gmail.com with the subject line "Off the Edge." Know your acronyms when using short forms of expressions. It's important to know how and when to use them and with whom. If you are like me, then it probably took you a while to figure out what ROFL is. It was part of a text message I had received sometime last year, in response to a joke I had shared. I blinked for a bit and then asked the sender what it meant. ROFL. Rolling on the floor laughing, she said. Thankfully, the joke had been received well. ROFL is just one of the many texting acronyms that have become popular in recent times. I'm told I must be aware of ROFL and its many cousins if I want to be in sync with the latest trends in English and the way languages change with the times. This is, of course, in the context of written communication on mobile phones and social media. So, today, I'm sharing some of my recently acquired knowledge, and some reservations, on this subject. Many of these expressions are what we would use in a casual context, especially under the influence of social media. ROFL, GOAT, greatest of all things, LOL, laugh out loud, YOLO, you only live once, or the ever-popular OMG, oh my god. Then, you have hashtag-driven acronyms like hashtag FOMO, fear of missing out, which are not necessarily casual, as they do hint at a certain anxiety, solitude, or melancholy that's probably gripping many of us in this increasingly virtual world. Keep them handy. If many of these expressions are part of a vocabulary we need to use only in a social or casual context, do you need to be aware of them, especially if you're looking for ways to communicate well professionally? I say, yes, and I have two reasons. 1. It's always useful to know how the world around us communicates. We are not islands and we need to connect with each other. 2. Connections and relationships at work are not defined by formal/professional settings alone. We need to socialize, build rapport through lighter moments, enable mutual trust and collaboration. And lighter moments demand a lighter vocabulary. In the office setting, one popular acronym is RSVP. This French expression, répondez s'il vous plaît, please respond, from the 19th century is commonly used with most email tools when meetings are set up and we are required to let the meeting organizers know if we will participate. Interestingly, some of these popular usages that seem contemporary are not really new. Take OMG for instance. According to an article I read recently, this acronym goes back to 1917 when someone said OMG in a letter to Winston Churchill. LOL and ROFL go back to the 1980s apparently. And YOLO could probably be traced all the way back to the 18th century when Goethe said, "One lives only once," though in German, in one of his plays. The stories and origins of these phrases prove that, as a species, we've always liked to play around with the way we communicate. If we do decide to use such expressions, we also need to know how to use them appropriately. Reserving many for strictly social occasions, ensuring they don't pop up in formal emails or messages are desirable. Overusing emoticons or acronyms could probably end up irritating the recipients of our messages. When we discuss acronyms, which all of you know are formed by bringing together the first letters of words, it may not be a bad idea to also know a bit about abbreviations and initialization. An abbreviation, unlike an acronym, only shortens a word. So for instance, DEC, or Feb for December and February, respectively. An initialization, on the other hand, is like an acronym, but we pronounce every letter that stands for a word. For example, VIP is an acronym for Very Important Person. However, we don't pronounce it as VIP or WIP, but as individual letters, VIP. Until the next column, TC and TTYL. The author is a writer and literary journalist. She also heads corporate communications at UST. Views expressed are personal. Twitter at @AnupMarayu. Cash in on the cloud. Why accounting students need to stay abreast of cloud-based technology in their field. Ankit Shyamsuka. With the financial industry digitizing in a big way, reports show that 62% of accounting firms are implementing cloud-based technologies. This means that students too should stay abreast of these developments and opt for courses that teach them about this technology. Why cloud? It enables a broad network access and multiple clients can use the same resources regardless of location. It also enables quick changes and measured service. Auditors need access to different applications such as audit workflow, program, client billing, tax laws, apart from access to the firm's office and clients' locations. All this can be shared in a few clicks and enhance the client experience and improve the way the firm operates. There are various courses for the different divisions of accounting that help students become industry ready. The earlier routine of managing and processing data records manually has given way to automation. Not only does this help complete functional tasks quickly and accurately, but also opens up possibilities of interpreting and reporting data more efficiently. The need of the hour is to adapt to working digitally. And students need to learn how to execute new technologies, onboard clients creatively and engage with them virtually. The writer is CEO, ICAEDU Skills and co-founder, IDCM. Meeting future challengesDo marks in the Class 12 board exams give a clear picture of students' knowledge. When the Tamil Nadu Board Class 12 exam results were released last week, headlines read, 100% pass rate. Best pass percentage witnessed yet. All the 816,473 students who had registered were declared passed. Thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of students got their certificates without acquiring knowledge or achieving educational outcomes. Marks were awarded on the basis of performance in Class 10, 11, and 12, with the last getting just 30% weightage. According to media reports, 30,600 students have scored above 550 marks out of 600 marks in the science stream this year. Last year, this number was 1,867. How do we measure student knowledge and skills? How fair was the weightage system, which gave 50% to Class 10 marks and 20% to Class 11? Do the marks obtained give a clear picture of the student's knowledge? What will be the impact on society in the future? Many such questions have been raised. This unprecedented situation is not specific to Tamil Nadu but is common to the country. Expressing disapproval of students being promoted, Wipro chairman Azim Premji said, "The worst thing that we could do is to ignore the past 1.5 years and just keep promoting children to the next class without helping them to learn what they should have learned. We can create an enormous deficit, which can never be filled up otherwise. Revisit goals. Instead of blaming it on COVID-19, we should try to find solutions to the problems that plague our education system. In this context, it is important to revisit our educational goals and reflect on these questions. Does our education system enable students to learn better and achieve educational outcomes? Are we school administrators, teachers, parents, and students obsessed with formal exams? Are there better ways of assessing student knowledge and skills? Do schools enable students to think logically and communicate their ideas effectively? Does the system promote learner autonomy and enable students to learn on their own? Does our education system prepare students to meet the challenges of the future? Attending classes and reading course material are not the only ways of learning. Students can learn in many other ways. During the pandemic, many students have learned to use technology and online resources effectively. By motivating and giving them opportunities to put their knowledge into practice through innovative and collaborative projects and assignments, teachers can help students learn better. Unfortunately, many school administrators and teachers think that traditional exams are the only way to assess student knowledge and skills. Such exams test memory skills, not thinking and application skills. Alternative assessments measure student competencies in a non-threatening environment throughout the course. Holistic in nature, the goal of alternative assessments is to suggest improvements and help students build their confidence and develop their learning ability. Self-report, observation, discussions, quiz, homework, portfolio, practical work, demonstration, class activities, and oral presentations can be conducted to assess what students can and cannot do. These help students develop their thinking skills and creativity. Promote learner autonomy. Helping students acquire knowledge in different subjects alone is not enough. Schools should also focus on helping students develop their reasoning and communication skills. By giving adequate importance to language skills and creating opportunities to demonstrate their communication ability, this goal can be achieved. But teachers need to be trained for this purpose. It is the teacher's responsibility to empower students and promote learner autonomy by helping them know what, why and how they learn. When students take responsibility for their own learning, they will have a range of strategies and apply them flexibly in different situations. This will motivate them to achieve their educational goals. The pandemic has taught everyone that to be prepared for challenges and adapt to the new normal. Our education system should instill confidence in students and prepare them to face challenges boldly. The writer is an resource person, columnist, and teacher trainer. Ryanal at yahoo.co.uk. Adding value to learning how course crafting can help enhance the quality of any upskilling or higher education course. Vivek K. Singh. Students arrive on campus with a basic misconception of the term study. They consider it a mundane task. However, the concept of career crafting opens up new possibilities for educating them on the importance and purpose of each course. Task crafting, relational crafting, and cognitive crafting are three types of course crafting that can help enhance the quality of any upskilling and higher education course. Task crafting. Students often rely on the strategies they have learned in college, even though these may not always be enough for continued success. Task crafting helps students identify novel approaches to completing course assignments that are in alignment with their talents, preferences, and personalities. Students are encouraged to solve practical problems in a study group rather than studying in a confined classroom. Relational crafting. Relational crafting looks for ways to strengthen and extend relationships by focusing on the social environment. Through this, students are taught to establish healthy relationships with their colleagues and management. Rather than receiving information passively, students can be encouraged to engage fruitfully by asking and answering questions, for which they could earn engagement points. This will promote diversity of thought in the classroom. Cognitive crafting. This approach focuses on making every class/assignment connected to a specific skill. It shows students how a course relates to their future in terms of both material and transferable skills. Students should be motivated to understand that they are learning to think critically, build a problem-solving protocol and to be innovative problem solvers. Putting strategies into effect. Theoretical education is much less interactive than practical education and cannot give one the same kind of outcomes or develop skills. This is where course crafting helps a student develop abilities that cannot be acquired solely by theoretical experience. The syllabus should be mapped out as a learning path of students, taking into consideration all the three approaches. The faculty should focus on including sections on better strategies for learning. Since learning is the primary goal of education, more emphasis should be placed on realistic education rather than theory in order to increase learning levels. The writer is co-founder and CEO, Careera. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video as a podcast. Do like, share and comment. Press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get new notifications. Thank you. Take care and stay safe. God bless you all. Jai Ma Bharti. To download news and editorials in MP3. Follow us on Telegram, Virtual School Official. The link is provided in the description below.